This is Dolany TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Glad to have you along for another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. Let me tell you, we are officially in the dog days of summer. The Blue Jays are 13, 14, something like that, games over 500, and Oilers news is about as scarce as it comes during the course of a calendar year. But today, of course, Sunday, so we had the Saturday night and Sunday morning midnight release of 9 Things, the column from Kurt Leavins of the Edmonton Journal, A Cult of Hockey. So we will discuss number 3, I believe, on the list, if I remember my screen cap right, simply because it kind of ties together everything we've got going on here the rest of this summer. It's got the Ryan McLeod situation, it's got the fourth line center situation, and of course the theory that we will be going into the trade deadline looking for that legit fourth line center for the second year in a row, as we did last year with Nic Dowd. Friends, right now I want to appeal to you. I've got a new graphic I just done up, all right? New graphic. If you're new to the channel or returning, if you're new, I want you to hit that subscribe button and then click the bell. If you're returning and you're kind of a subscriber already, but you find it hard to find the videos, consider clicking the bell that's next to the subscribe button right here on the channel and turning on all notifications. It'll give you a notification, allow you to find the videos that much faster in the future, and really help you big time. You see the last line there, the live streams, right? If that's your thing and you don't want to miss it, click the bell. It'll notify you when I go live or post a new video, and you'll be good to go. Sorry, that's something I've been meaning to get to. Feels good that I got to it, so let's get to what you're really here for today. And that is, of course, this number 3. I was right. Look at that. I actually have something going for me on a Sunday afternoon. Well, friends, let's go quickly. I got to turn up my audio levels here a little bit because it looks like I'm a little bit quiet for you. There we go, a little bit louder. I wrote last week, this is Kurt Leavins writing this, of the Cult of Hockey, by the way, in this space that the Oilers were close to deals with RFAs Evan Bouchard and Ryan McLeod. The latter's arbitration case is scheduled for August 4th, which we've already talked about earlier this weekend. I stand by that, and as I continue to hear that both will get done, but I do think the goalposts may have moved slightly in terms of what it may take. Obviously, today we got news on Jack McBain signing a $1.6 million deal. So again, the market kind of shrinks on Ryan McLeod, and again, everybody's saying that 2.2 to 2.25, you might be on to something there now all of a sudden. As a result, it may result in the club inviting a couple depth centers to camp on PTOs versus signing a UFA. That crop is now picked over pretty thoroughly. Instead, I can see the Oilers reassessing their strength at center in season and targeting a solution via trade instead. Names that may make sense: Nic Dowd, $1.3 million times 2 years in Washington, and Jake Evans, $1.7 million times 2 years in Montreal. So again, the Oilers would be able to build next year, or next season at the deadline, and then into the next season after that with a guy under contract for somewhere around $1 million or less. I imagine there would be retention on either deal that happens at the trade deadline. So when I said right off the bat that we are talking about UFAs, we're talking about Ryan McLeod, we're talking about PTOs, and we're talking about trade deadline candidates already. It took, 5-6 sentences there from Kurt Leavins, and we hit every base we need to touch the rest of this off season. That is absolutely awesome, because there's so much to just digest here in one single little paragraph about the Edmonton Oilers on a sleepy Sunday in late July. It's July 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st. Tuesday is August 1st. And then Wednesday we'll be talking something completely different. I promise you that. But we won't worry about that too much yet. No, right now we have to just get through this little bit of late July, early August, where things are quiet. Obviously, we expect this next week to be busy. That's talking Ryan McLeod. Then all of a sudden you get into late August, you start talking about PTOs, and of course maybe UFAs, who knows what the cap space looks like, and then yes, you get into camp, and then you start fleshing out throughout the course of the season what you need at the NHL trade deadline. So as it stands for the Oilers right now, we've got 2 early trade deadline candidates. That's what I really want to focus on here, because you don't have to acquire a guy at the trade deadline to have him be a trade deadline acquisition. Ari, well, Nick Bjugstad and Matthias Ekholm were acquired a few days before the trade deadline each. So let's quickly take this down and go over here and get you a couple of graphic things you need to know. So Nic Dowd, 65 games played this past season, 13 goals, 12 assists, and 25 points in the season. So not a bad clip, about probably clipping the same rate as Ryan McLeod did actually this past season for the Edmonton Oilers. And just to kind of map it out here, yeah, you're looking at a guy who scored about 32 points over the course of an 82-game campaign last season. Jake Evans, 54 games played, 19 points divided by 54 times 82, clipping in there at a grand total of 29 points. So again, solid numbers for bottom six forwards on a potential Edmonton Oilers roster. That too said is Jake Evans shot like 3.6% this season, so you'd expect the goals to improve. Just a down year, weird season, might have had some injury issues. Not really familiar with the situation with him, nor with Nic Dowd. I saw that there was a core issue there at some point this past season, so keep that in mind. Both these guys likely to either get better or stay exactly the same this next season, so that's something we can look forward to there. Just to give you an idea on Jake Evans a little bit more, saw a grand total of 2 shorthanded points, so this is a guy who does penalty kill, played about 14 and a half minutes per night in 54 games, so a guy that was elevated up the lineup maybe a little bit more than he should, because obviously playing with the Montreal Canadiens. And then Nic Dowd playing 13 and a half minutes a night and shooting 21%, so expect that 13 goals to regress slightly down to probably about 9 or 10 over the course of an NHL season. Only 62 shots on goal, by the way. So keep that in mind. Nic Dowd, just to give you an idea of what he's all about, he is a 6'1", 33-year-old, 193-pound centerman. He's a right-hand shot, so again, fits the portfolio, and there's a reason Kurt Leavins is mentioning him. And then Jake Evans here, we'll get him if we can. Obviously not available in the playoffs, but available in the regular season. Give me just a second. Just getting used to using the Sportsnet almighty stuff here. Jake Evans, again, 6'0", 186 pounds, and a right-hand shot centerman as well. So keep that in mind. Both these guys, not overly big, but they do fit the portfolio of being right-hand shot centers. So right now, we're still currently awaiting Ryan McLeod. We'll continue to do that for a long, long time here the rest of this week. And then secondarily to that, we'll start talking about PTO candidates once things start fleshing out in terms of contracts for McLeod and Bouchard. Then we'll talk about maybe signing a UFA or signing one of the PTOs. And then we'll talk about trade deadline candidates. Can I get out of this video without sneezing? That is the challenge. Friends, I'm going to try and get out of here. Nope. Fool's play. Anyway, yeah, you know what? It's one of those things we'll talk about here as the season develops. Right now, we're just about to enter into August. One more day left in July tomorrow, and then we are in August 2023 already. Friends, I'm Tyson, this is Stolany TV. Thank you so much for being along for the ride today. I am up on out of here.